Good day, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to another technical summary video. Our topic for today is a brand new standard that was issued by the IASB, and that is called IFRS 18. I'm going to start off with why it's important, going through an introduction, an overview of the publication, and then just quickly looking at the most important aspects. I actually found a very nice little one-page summary that I just want to take you through very quickly. And then lastly, the links to the source and bonus documents I have provided to you. So if you look at my pictures on the right-hand side, you'll see we are in the realm of IFRS. IFRS 18 specifically dealing with presentation and disclosure of financial statements, and it was issued by the IAASB, and like I said, it is a brand spanking new standard. So let's go and have a look. Some of the abbreviations that you'll see on the slides today: the IASB is the International Accounting Standards Board, IFRS is the International Financial Reporting Standards, and FS stands for Financial Statements. So those are just some of the abbreviations that you'll see that I've used on the slides. Let's look at why this is important. What is the relevance to you in your capacity as an accountant, as an auditor, as an accounting professional, an independent reviewer? Well, you need to always consider your client's compliance with the accounting standards. And if they are using IFRS as their financial reporting framework, well then IFRS 18 is going to be very important. It sort of forms the base. You know, in a couple of years, like from 2027, we'll be looking back and saying, oh, in the old days, and the old days will be today. In the old days, we still had IAS 1. Now we've got IFRS 18. So things do change quite rapidly. But this was the culmination of their project on primary financial statements. So this is a very, very important standard. So if you are compiling financial statements, well, you need to be up to scratch and aware of all the amendments to the standards that are being issued by the standard setting bodies, and those would be the IASB and the IAASB. The IASB issues the accounting standards, and the IAASB issues the auditing and assurance standards. All right. So this is part of the IASB. This is where IFRS comes from, and this is where the ISAs come from, the ISAs, the auditing standards. So very important. The new IFRS 18 will affect all your clients who use IFRS accounting standards. Absolutely. The relevance to your clients is they are the ones that are responsible for compiling the financial statements. So if you are not doing that in your capacity as a compiler, if they are compiling themselves, well then they need to be aware of the changes to the standards that have been issued by the standard setting bodies. And of course it will affect them if they use IFRS. So it's very, very relevant and widely applicable as well. So as part of an introduction, what was the IASB's aim with this? Well, they had this project on called primary financial statements for years and years. It's been an agenda item on their work schedule. So their aim is to improve the usefulness of all the info that is presented and disclosed in the financial statements, because it's all about providing information to the users, isn't it? That's what the presentation of the financial statements is all about. The level of disclosure needs to have sufficient detail so that whatever they want to find in the financial statements, the users can find. And you'll see that a lot more of this has been geared more towards the investors. You know, think back to your varsity days when you took your business, your management accounting. The first thing they teach you is an analysis of financial statements, taking the financials and analyzing that into ratios that make sense, where you can go in and measure things like performance indicators and things like that. So all of those things that measured, like the DuPont model and the Altman Z score, remember those that measured the bankruptcy potential of a company? Well, you'll still be able to use those, but a lot of it will now be provided for you, all right, by your clients, by the entity that presents the financial statements. So the brand new IFRS 18 is on presentation and disclosure in the financial statements. It's been issued. It is only effective from the 1st of January. And yes, you can early adopt. There is early adoption that is allowed. But very importantly, it affects all companies that use IFRS. Now, IFRS 18 is probably the most significant change since we started using IFRS 20 years ago. Can you believe it's 20 years already that we've been using IFRS? So, since IFRS started, IAS 1 formed the base of all financial statements, how it was presented and what was disclosed in it. Because IAS 1 was all about presentation of financial statements. Now, IFRS 18 has now replaced the old IAS 1. Yes, a lot of the requirements from IAS 1 were just carried forward. So they were not saying by a long shot that IAS 1 is no longer good enough. No, they just said we need to have a little bit more focus, and we don't just want to do an update to IAS 1. We want to move away from the IASs and move into the realm of this is IFRS. All right. So IFRS 18 does replace IAS 1, but a lot of the stuff from IAS 1 has just been carried forward because it's still relevant. All right. I mean, you can only present so many things in the financial statements, and the majority of things in IAS 1 that rang true still do ring true today. So yes, it has been carried forward. The publication itself is 180 pages long. If you go to the website, you'll find this. This is what the document looks like. And the PDF format has a huge PDF sticker with this dark black line on. This is the one that is available to your IFRS digital subscribers. Right. In the old days, we had eIFRS. Now we've got IFRS digital. So I don't know if you are, I know I'm a member of PSYCA, and the way that I access this is by accessing the digital standards through my PSYCA membership. Right, so if not, then you'll have to go and purchase this. You can always just go and purchase the document. But I have given it to you via a source document link. I have already gotten that document for you there. So yes, it was issued by the IASB in April. It was, like I said, the culmination of a huge project. And IFRS 18 is literally, what is this going to do? Remember, we said we want there to be better information presented. So it will give investors specifically more transparent and comparable information about what? About the company's financial performance. So all of the financial performance ratios that we have, those ones should now be fairly straightforward, and the financial investors will be able to access that a lot easier. Also, if they've got more information, they can make better investment decisions. So the PDF consists of three parts. Part A is the actual accounting standard. Part B is the basis for conclusions, and Part C is called illustrative examples. So that's what the 180 pages consists of. Like I said, it is available on IFRS Digital, but there's also a nice little one-page summary that I have made available to you via a bonus document link. So let's go and have a look at the most important aspects of IFRS 18. What has changed? There are three sets of new requirements. The first one refers to the statement of profit and loss, or aka the income statement, as we called it in the old days. It is the statement of profit and loss. And what they've introduced there is improved comparability. So a lot more across the board requirements to set the information out in a certain way so that certain line items can be compared to one another, and you don't have to go and add this back and add that back before you've got items that are comparable. So yes, there's a lot of changes to the statement of profit and loss. There's also enhanced transparency here, where certain management defined performance measures are being disclosed. And yeah, this is a big issue because people don't like disclosing what they use to measure their own performance. But it is all about transparency, not just for us as auditors with transparency reporting. But a lot of this is also about management having to disclose their performance measures. What have they defined? How do they measure their performance? And then, well, if that's how they measure performance, surely the investors can use it to measure performance too. And why must the investors now go and reinvent the wheel if management can just disclose that in the financials? So you'll see how transparent this all is. And then the last item here, more useful grouping of information in the financial statements. So you'll see that there will be some more subtotals available. And those subtotals will be a lot more comparable for the users of the financial statements. There will be support to implement IFRS 18 that the IFRS Foundation have said that they will be issuing. So the IASB have said, yes, we will be issuing support materials throughout this year, but not only this year. Remember, it's only effective in 2027. So it's important that we need to know about it now. If you want to adopt, you can go and adopt, but then you're going to have to adopt all the other standards that relate to it as well. All right. So yeah, it's not just, you can't just do piecemeal adoption. It's like an all or nothing. All right. Always with early adoption. In a nutshell, this is what the one-pager document says. IFRS 18 will improve communication. That's what it's all about. In the primary financial statements, and this is the realm where IAS 1 was before, it consisted of the primary financial statements and then you've got notes to the financial statements. So this is the presentation and this is the disclosure, right? So the information in the primary financial statements and the notes are more clearly linked as a result of IFRS 18. There's a lot more information that says, oh, well, you know what, this has to be explained in a note. You can't just have this, you must explain what it consists of in a note. So yeah, but the primary financial statements is a useful structured summary. Some of the major changes that have been introduced by IFRS 18 to the statement of profit and loss are the two new defined subtotals in there. The one is operating profit and profit before financing and income taxes. Also, the categories for classifying income and expenses have been changed there slightly. So there are certain categories that must now be disclosed openly, and you will split your income and expenses into these categories: operating, investing, financing, income taxes, and discontinued operations. You'll see that almost operating, investing, and financing sort of makes it feel like we're talking about the cash flow statement, but it's for the year, so it's not just the cash, right? It's the actual income and expenses per category of operations there. So there are limited changes to the old balance sheet, to the statement of financial position, the statement of cash flows. No requirements, no changes to the comprehensive income, right? And the statement of changes in equity. So the statement of comprehensive income hasn't changed. It is the statement of profit and loss that has changed now. So some other disclosures that are required now, I've told you before, the management defined performance measures there, and all the expenses are now specified by nature. That's a major change in the way that it gets disclosed. Other disclosures have been carried forward straight from IAS 1. Okay, the general requirements for financial statements are carried forward. It must be comparable, it must be reliable, all of those. But in terms of material accounting policies, sources of estimation and uncertainty, capital management and debt covenants, those are all carried forward from IAS 1, so no changes there. But IFRS 18, you'll see we will start using it very seamlessly, and I'm sure most of you use financial statement packages to draft. So whether it is Caseware or DraftWorks or whatever the case may be, you'll find it quite seamless there. So the source and bonus documents, I've given you the actual standard. There's the link to the actual standard for you there. The IFRS landing page, IFRS 18 landing page there. There's the link, and then the one-page overview that I just showed you, that's where you can go and download that. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.